Hey pranksters, welcome to the Panic Report. It's Payne here. Today we've got something very special for you. That's right, as you can see, we're not in our normal area that we do most of our filming at. We're in a special effects creature shop here with my friend Alan. But before we get there, I need you to like the video. If you're not a subscriber yet, hit that subscribe button. And as always here on the Panic Report, that's right, give it a smash. Now let's jump on in here. Hey Alan, why don't you introduce yourself to all the pranksters out there?
Thank you, Shane. My name is Alan Carnes, owner and operator of Go-To Effects. I do special effects makeup, creatures, monsters, suit acting, vacuforming, and props. And we're going to take you around the shop and give you a nice little tour of all the kind of creepy things that we got laying around.
Sounds awesome. I'm super excited. You guys ready to get our scream on?
Let's get the scream on.
So first, I've known Alan for a very long time. I grew up actually going to school, junior high and high school with his sister. We were absolute best friends. So that's how I know Alan. What got you into this?
Well, what got me into doing this kind of work is I was always fascinated with the unbelievable, the twisted, the weird, the unusual. And I was always a very creative kid. I always liked sculpting, and I wanted to be a monster for the longest time until I was explained by my sister. After I saw a few horror films, she says, these are not real. You can't actually be a monster, but you can make monsters. And she showed me a couple of behind the scenes videos, like on Michael Jackson's Thriller, on how they made the show. And that's what I knew I wanted to be. So for the rest of my life, I made that my goal. I wanted to be a special effects makeup artist and props artist, and then I found out I could be a suit actor, which was great. So I got into doing haunts and playing into like all kinds of weird, creepy characters.
That is so cool. Some of you might actually know Alan. Some of you from my past. Alan did come up and do makeup for us at the haunt that I was a part of. He was up there helping build, makeup, all that. He has built props for us in the past. Werewolves that we used at the haunt, some pigs. That looks very familiar to some of you right there. Also, for those of you who weren't a part of the haunt, you may also recognize him from Face Off. That's right, he was a part of Face Off. So how was that experience for you?
That was actually a little bit different than the special effects industry, let me tell you. It was fun. It was definitely an experience. Being a reality show, you're left with a lot of like time constraints and specifics that they need to get filmed. But in the special effects industry, we're allotted a lot more time. So when I was on the show, it was fun, but I always looked at it as that was never a complete design or a full-fledged idea. That was just a rough sketch. But it still was a really good learning experience about how to keep your time, how to keep your pacing, how to keep things, on schedule, those kinds of things. It was a good experience.
I think watching that show, because of course I knew you were on it, so I was watching it. I used to always watch it. You could absolutely see your talent on that show and the direction you were trying to go with it. And I could tell that it was definitely a time thing. Because any of you who have seen Alan's stuff, especially his completed stuff, this dude does amazing work. One of my absolute favorite things that maybe we'll get a shot of it or something at some point if we're lucky enough. He built this Minotaur that is still to this day one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It is a full-fledged creature suit. Well, why didn't you tell him about it?
Okay, yeah, so after Face Off, when I got voted off, it was kind of a little bit of a sad moment. So I came back, but I didn't let it like dampen my spirits. I just thought, I'm just going to get back on that horse and get back into the shop. So after that, I just kind of made it a goal that I wanted to make the biggest, most intense looking creature I could. And I'd never done animatronics before because I'd only just done makeup and props. So I figured this was the best opportunity I'd have to really kind of just show off what it is I can do. So what I ended up doing was going into wanting to making a full-fledged Minotaur with full animatronics and a full head-to-toe suit, armor, everything. And it was, and I met my goal. It was a 3 to 4 month learning experience. But once I got done, I was pretty pleased and happy with what I had as a result.
It is amazing. Like I said, it's not just a costume, but there's all the facial features that are all controlled by somebody else, and the face moves, and it's incredible. Incredible. So I know that there's a lot of projects always going on, very busy. We've been trying to get this together for quite a few months, his schedule, my schedule. So obviously you're working on something. Is there something that we could take a peek at?
Yeah, definitely. Well, we can't really show you the finished piece because we're under NDA.
Okay.
But I can definitely show you this one little prototype that we have for an upcoming film they're going to be working on. So this is actually an ABS vacuform that we did for a prototype for this upcoming creature. Now, you would say this is a werewolf because of the long muzzle, but it actually isn't because of the shape of the nose and whatnot. So, but this prototype is just so we can see how much pressure, and this is going to be operated by the actor. So we're going to have a lot of mechanics and pieces that are going to be moving certain aspects of the face that goes over this.
Very cool. Now how do you build this? What's the starting point to making this?
Well, first starting point that we're going to do is normally we start with a sculpture like we have like maquettes here, or we'll start off with a clay sculpture of something that we're going to make. And then we go through a long process of molding and castings, and then we do a silicone mold. And then with that silicone mold, we'll normally do a core. Now, sometimes you'll do them in fiberglass, but we wanted to try some new techniques. And I've heard that people can do vacuform underskulls. So for that, we would actually make a hard form core that's called a buck. And I can actually show you a demo if you like, or show you the machines that we use. And then what we do is we heat thermoform over that buck. And that's what gives us this hard and yet lightweight shape. And I can actually take this off and put it on for you if you want. So this is actually just roughly my face for the prototype. So you would put your face in like this, and this gets really tight with the prosthetic over your eyes. So
yeah, it's right up against your face right there already.
So that would get really tied up and around your eyes with the prosthetics. Yep. Just enough to where it has enough space to where it's really comfortable. And also no air restrictions. That's why we open up that nostril. So you can breathe in and out of your nose and also out of your mouth. And anybody that's in the haunt industry knows, oxygen's key.
Been there, done that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's take a look at how that's done. Okay, cool. So how does it work?
So what we have here is a thermoform vacuformer. And what is required when you do a vacuform is you have to have a piece of thermoformal plastic. This is high impact styrene. What you would do is you would put this in the machine, like so. It's very easy to put together. And then what we're going to do is we'll actually do you a full test. So what we're going to do is, this is actually a heat box up here that gives us the heat we need to make the plastic malleable and soft enough to where it can be pulled over. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the frame up like this. We're going to take our buck, which is actually this life cast from one of our models that I need. Now I can't quite show you the full face, but this model is going to be used for the upcoming film that we're going to be doing. And he needs this on the inside of one of those prototype heads, so it's a nice form fitted on his face.
Cool.
So then what we're going to do is we'll put the buck in here, and then we'll heat the plastic up. Plastic's going to droop, and then we'll drop it down. And you're going to see magic happen as the plastic actually gets sucked down all around. It's going to take every little millimeter of every little shape of this face.
Super cool. Okay, quick question before we go there. Where would you get something like this?
Well, now this right here, and I hope it's okay for me to be saying this. So this I actually learned how to build from the Stan Winston School of Character Arts. And the tutorial was done by Fawn Davis, which is a renowned special effects props artist, and he's builds models, kits, works on things like Star Wars and all kinds of amazing movies. Anyway, so he has a tutorial called Fawn Davis's How to Make a Sci-Fi Helmet. So I got that tutorial off of Stan Winston School of Character Arts, and it went through a step-by-step on how to build them. So you could buy them, but they're really expensive. But
that's what I was getting at. He built this.
Yeah. So it's actually more inexpensively to build your own. So I built all of my vacuform machines. I have about 4 different sizes for 4 different types of projects. From Blaster here, which is my largest piece, to Master, which is basically my workhorse. He does the most work in the shop. And then I have some little ones that do all the smaller pieces.
Come on, that's cool. Okay, you guys ready to dive in? See how this thing works?
Okay, so now we're hot enough to temperature, and now we're getting what's called the drop. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this plastic droop about at least half the distance of our buck. So now right about there, and we're gonna hit on the vacuum. And then now what we have is a plastic copy, perfectly formed, with every pore, every detail, and every wrinkle.
Just that fast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you've seen how the vacuum form starts. So do you have a project you could show us? It's like a completed one that you actually use vacuum form on?
Yeah, absolutely. So there was a Barbarian movie that we did about a year and a half ago called Heaven Quest. And I was asked to participate in the film as an extra. Well, the problem with being an extra is as soon as they see your face, you're done. You're good. You know, you don't need to come back because they've already used you. Well, that doesn't work for me. So being the special effects artist I am, I taught to the props artists and I actually taught to the costume designers. And I asked, is there anything I can provide that can give me just a little bit more time on this film? And they were like, unless you can make helmets. And I said, okay. And then I emailed them a photo that night and I said, will this work? So literally within a couple of hours, I went ahead and I did a vacuum form of my face just to get the basic shape as a blueprint to work on. And then I went ahead and I made this basically out of foam and leather and fur. And so this fits perfectly on my face and it looks like it's a heavy piece of iron. And because the soldiers are basically iron-headed soldiers anyway, I figured, you know, why not make a mask that I can wear and then I could be used more than once? Well, the director was so impressed with the speed of which I got the mask done and that it looked like metal. He said, how many more of these can you make? And I thought, how many do you need? So literally within a week, I was hired on to basically do more helmets, and then I did some weapons and then some background stuff. So this was just the first helmet I did, and I don't have the rest of them because the cast members that wore their helmets loved them so much. They were like, can we keep these? And I thought, it's up to the director, not me. So some of them kept their parts and their pieces, and then the rest I kept for a little bit. But then those got, you know, bought up by, you know, fans and whatnot after a while.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
That is so cool. There's also something else that you're known for, which I have. I'll have to put some photos up sometime. I have 2 different sizes of them, mind you. And those are the rats. Can we see and
Yes.
hear the story on these rats?
Yes. So Go-To Effects is actually known for their special effects rats. A long time ago, I was hired on to do a movie called The Black Tape. And I did the first ever Granddaddy rat, which is the director wanted me to make a prop rat that had to look so realistic to the camera eye because it had to look like it had eaten poison from a pot and that it just died right there on the counter. And I thought, okay. And he said all the rats that he'd ever seen were of poor quality. So he says, you know, I need a realistic rat. And I said, okay. So I made him the most realistic looking rat I could make, and I sent him a photograph through my cell phone. And he says, Alan, why are you sending me a picture of a dead rat? And I said, look closer. And he goes, oh, is that my rat? I said, that's your rat. And he goes, that is so uncanny. So after that, a few more rats were asked by a few other people, word of mouth. And then, you know, 4 turns into 5, 5 turns into 20, 20 turns into 50, 50 turns into 1,000. And the next thing you know, I'm literally building prop rodents. And this is actually something Go-To Effects builds on a regular basis. This is what keeps the shop lights on. This is literally the shop that the rats built.
That's so cool. And what are the different sizes since then that you have built?
Well, the thing is that the little ones we make in abundance, and we make them by the thousands. And then you have the hand puppets, which we can show here in a little bit, which you, of course, have too.
I have 2 of them, a bride and a groom.
That was a sweet little wedding present.
Yes,
yeah,
and
which he was very
love those things.
And then we have, and those are our 3-footers. And then we have the largest rat that we ever made was for a haunt out in West Virginia, where the gentleman actually wanted it for a wedding, Princess Bride theme, and then he wanted it to be, he said, how big can you make it? And I said, how big do you want it? And he goes, I want it 5 feet. I thought, okay. So I built a 5-foot rat from nose to rear. And then it ended up being 10 feet because of the 5-foot tail, of which the gentleman was like, I love it. So we had to box up this giant rat, which was all posable. Every part of it was posable, so you could pose it in their display room. And it was literally the biggest package I think Go-To Effects has ever shipped out.
That's awesome.
So it was a lot of fun. It was a labor intensive of love, but it was a fun.
So you started with this little 3-letter rodent. R-A-T. And now you've gone towards another 3-letter, but this is a pet. Also with A-T, you kind of just changed the first letter. What is that?
We got our prop dead cats. And Go-To Effects now presents our dead cat line, which is we either have your standard posable cats or you have our zombie cats. And our zombie cats are actually very popular. So popular the fact that it caught the eye of one director who is, if you go on to Shudder, there's actually a movie called Superhost. It's actually for sale now at Walmart, actually as of yesterday, which I'm very thrilled of that. That's a really nice credit. Director gave me a big shout out. And they needed a dead cat for a scene. Now, I won't say which part, and you're just going to have to find it because it's there. And I'll tell you, the rats are amazing, but the cats looked phenomenal on film.
I'll be sure to somehow figure out a way to put a cat in here because we have a cat as well. And it is amazing, incredible. There's no way that you would know that this isn't a real cat. So what is the next thing for you to go to?
Well, Go-To Effects is actually going to be doing a Bigfoot film here before too long, and that's all I can really say about that. But it's going to be an epic adventure.
Come on, we're going to have to definitely follow this guy to follow along with that. So now we are in a different area of the shop, and it looks to me like this is the fur.
Yeah, I would say we got a lot of fur. Yeah, Go-To Effects, because we just don't build just rats and cats, we're actually getting into a larger mainstream. So we've had people in horror films and epic westerns that have asked us to make things like between like rabbits, boars, wolves, and deer, and raccoons. And actually, you got some raccoon bags that are going to be coming to you before too long.
Some raccoon bags.
Yeah, so we got those. So we have a variety of different colors and styles and naps and things that we use, from the most expensive NFT fur, which if you've ever seen those Messing with Sasquatch commercials, that is like the most expensive fur you can get, all the way down to really high quality like fabric fur that we use. But here's the thing. I heard not too long ago that a certain clown had a birthday. Didn't you? And I missed it.
Yeah, a while ago.
And too many schedule pieces were like stuck. So we were literally like trying to figure out how to get you up here. So can we get that thing out of the microwave, please? No, other microwave. There we go. Here. Here, toss it over here. There we go. Cool. So, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. I have no idea what this would even be.
Happy birthday, happy Yule, happy Valentine's, early Valentine's Day.
You could be my Valentine's.
Oh, I can be your Valentine? Okay, cool.
It's a clown makeup kit.
Oh, wait, what's this? What's going on here?
Oh, I don't know.
Other way. What's that all about?
Shane, happy birthday. Ask about the big box. Your friend Alan. Alan. What about the big box?
Hey, let's go get the big box. Okay. Alright, this is a little on the heavy side. Here we go. Okay, so, to us, from Go-To Effects, to Panic. There you go.
That's a big box. I got a box!
Okay, let's get you out of here for a little bit. Okay. Oh, sorry. Clown joke. Couldn't help myself. There we go.
What in the world could this thing be? Oh, that's freaking awesome. That is freaking awesome.
But there's an extra added feature. You know why? Pull the trigger. When you pull the pull start, pull the trigger.
Oh, yeah. That is super cool.
Not only that, but it also, if you pull the trigger lightly,
That is super awesome. That is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you guys can get these too, I guess. This guy makes everything.
Mm-hmm. And because we found out from little birdie that Panic is the bringer of chaos. Well, now everybody knows who Chaos is.
Chaos, that's right.
And this is all UV paint. So this is all going to glow in black light.
Yes. Okay, that's awesome, and I can't wait to use it. I'm definitely not waiting until Halloween. This is awesome. Alan, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. That's incredible. So, if you guys need anything at all, like I said, he does special effects makeup. Obviously, you see the props that he makes, all the different animals, and it's way beyond just animals that this guy does. I remember a quick story. When he was staying with us for the haunt, he was working on this project. It was a mask, it was the underside of a mask, like he showed earlier, the hard plastic part. And he wanted to create, when you opened your mouth, that the lips pulled back. Mm-hmm. And he was in our garage working on this thing and drilling stuff out and screwing pieces on to get it to when you opened your mouth, that it not just opened the mouth, but then it had a second piece over the top that pulled the lips back. And then later on, when I asked him to build some wolves for me for the haunt, he had figured all that out and got it all working, and that's how our wolves worked. Even in the costume, the mask itself, all you had to do was open your mouth, and there were actually two functions. The mouth would open and the lips would pull back. Mm-hmm. All super cool stuff that this guy does. So definitely we're going to leave a link in the video to all of his social media and all the stuff so you can follow him around. This was incredible. We're definitely going to have to come back up and see more stuff and do this again sometime. Definitely make sure that you guys follow Alan on everything that he's got. Why don't you give a plug to your all your Instagram and all that kind of stuff if you want. YouTube channel if you have that.
Not a YouTube channel yet, but you can find us over here at gotoeffects.com. You can find us on Etsy at gotoeffects@yahoo.com, as well as gotoeffects@gmail.com.
And like I said, I'll link all of that in the description below. If you guys are not subscribers yet and you are not a part of the Pranksters, this is the reason why you want to be. So be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And as Panic always says, see that thumbs up button? Give it a smash! From Payne here, from the Panic Report, and Alan, we'll scare you guys later.